What is there to say about Season 17? Actually, I only started collecting the collection back in October when somebody sent me one for my birthday. But I've become something of a convert. You see, I originally thought that repeating all of the material that I already had on DVD was a little bit worthless. But there are many benefits of these little boxes of delight, not least the special features like Behind the Sofa. Well, today I received my copy of the standard edition of Season 17, and I'm going to be diving into this exquisite little box set. The quality, the extra bits, the packaging, and the presentation. Join me as we go beyond the sofa. There is something exciting about holding one of these collection sets in your hands, especially when it's wrapped up in such a stylish package. You may notice that I've gone for the standard edition collection sets, and that's partly because of the cost and partly because of the size. There really isn't much that you lose out on in terms of content. The limited editions have larger books, which I never read anyway, and the bigger boxes as well, some of which seem to have been falling apart recently, which is a bit of a shame for a package that costs over 50 quid.
I don't care, look, it's one of the great treasures of the universe.
Standard editions might be in standard Blu-ray cases with cardboard sleeves, but they are sturdier, they're likely to last longer. I mean, look, I've got DVDs in here that are 20 plus years old and they're still going strong. They're also smaller, which means they're easier to store with one of these boxes replacing around 6 DVD cases and only taking up the space of 2. So if you want to reclaim your shelf space, this might be the way to go. But they also have their downsides. Chief amongst them is the incredibly long lead times between releases of limited editions and standard editions. And this has never made too much sense to me, since the limited editions often sell out quickly, and other releases seem to have standard editions released at exactly the same time as the special editions or the steelbooks. I'm looking at the Studio Canal stuff, for example. Again, the steelbooks always seem to sell out quite fast. As it is, the standard edition collectors have to wait another 2 years for a release of something like Season 17. Dear BBC, if you are watching, please give us poor sods a hand and let us catch up a little, even if we still have a year to wait afterwards. So whilst I'm excited to get these releases, there's always this tinge of a little regret that everybody else seems to be so much further ahead. But from here, we're mostly into the good bits. The artwork on the box sets, it's a genuine treat for the eyes. You've got Tom Baker in his scarf, you've got the Daleks, you've got Davros and the Nimon and that funny one-eyed green thing from City of Death. And once again, Lee Binding's artwork is impeccable. And of course, this carries across the rest of the box set as well. There is one piece of art that is always missing, however, and that's the artwork that usually appears on the flap of the box sets. And this is a shame. It's the same across the whole range, and I do think it'd be nice to have it printed somewhere, maybe inside the booklet. And look, I used to do graphic design a bit. I know it wouldn't be too much more to print 2 more extra pages in the book. Perhaps as a mini poster people could pull out if they wanted to. I'm just saying, the artwork is incredible, and I'd love to have it to take a proper look at my leisure. As always, this set isn't just a run-of-the-mill release. All of the episodes are remastered, and the visual upgrade is impressive. But before we talk about that, let's talk about what we actually get. Very quickly before we start, I want to announce my participation in GAMEBLAST 24. This is the UK's largest annual charity gaming marathon, and it's happening from the 23rd to the 25th of February. This event supports Special Effect, an incredible charity dedicated to bringing the joy and inclusion of gaming to physically disabled individuals. Through adaptive technology, Special Effect is creating a world where everybody can game, but they need your help too. I'm going to be live on Twitch and on YouTube for a 24-hour gaming challenge full of fun, laughter, and it's for a really, really fantastic cause. And for more information about the event and for how you can join us in making a difference, then check out the link in the video description. And if you're feeling generous and you want to contribute right away, you can donate right there too. The money goes straight to the charity. Join us in leveling the playing field and changing lives with Special Effect and GAMEBLAST 24. Your support means the world to us and to the countless individuals whose lives you'll be impacting. Let's make it a weekend to remember.
Silence. Later you will be questioned, tortured, and killed.
Well, I hope you get it in the right order.
Season 17 is a little bit of a mixed bag when it comes to quality. Obviously, as a classics fan, I tend to overlook the problems of the episodes, but for new viewers, you really should be aware of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Kicking off the season is Destiny of the Daleks. It's not my favourite Dalek story, if I'm honest. It has a fair amount of running around, seemingly to pad out the runtime. And if you look at the front of the box, there's no surprise that Davros is back. This is a bit of an odd one. You know, it's a Terry Nation script that is trying to be really serious, and a production team that seems to want to inject as much humour into the show as possible. But it has its charms too, and it's got some updated effects here. And if you want to see that, look, I know that updated effects aren't everybody's cup of tea, but I quite like them. I tend to choose to watch the episodes with those effects on. We then move on to one of the best episodes that the classic series has to offer, City of Death. This one screams Douglas Adams, even though its writers also include David Fisher and Graham Williams. If you want to see the whimsy of the series working at full tilt, then this is the place to go. Julian Glover is an awesome guest star, and we have a cameo from John Cleese as well. I love this episode, and it actually looks really, really great on Blu-ray, partly because of those lovely scenes in Paris, which was shot on film. Next, we have The Creature from the Pit. And again, we go back to our little bit of a mixed bag. The creature itself, let's just say that it hasn't aged well, shall we? But the effects in this one aren't really the biggest issue with the story. And whilst there's a lot to like about it, I mean, Tom Baker is still on fine form, for example, this serial is definitely more filler than killer. It's possibly one of David Fisher's weakest scripts. But just as this series might pull you down with one story, it lifts you up with another. Nightmare of Eden is a bit of a favourite of mine, I have to admit. There's no reason why, but to me, it's the one where you can just tune in and enjoy it. It's funny, it's camp, there's a lot that went wrong with it, mostly on the production side, but this is a much stronger story and one that carries you through its runtime. It's presented here with updated special effects again, and they're really worth seeing. The Horns of Nimon, love it or hate it, it's a bit of a romp. It's ridiculous, it's camp, with Graham Crowden playing the villainous Soldeed, who makes the story infinitely watchable, despite it being one of the weaker ones of the series. Treat this like the comedy that it is, riffing off various 70s sci-fi cliches, and you'll have a great time with it. And finally, Shada. Never fully produced, it's presented here as 6 full episodes with animated bits filling in the scenes that could not be produced. And I rather like this. I love the setting, I love Chronotis. This one features newly enhanced animation, but you've also got access to the 1992 and 2017 versions as special features. And talking of special features, one of the things that the collection sets have been very good for is presenting the special features that were on the DVDs alongside other specials such as Behind the Sofa. For me, Behind the Sofa has been worth picking up all of the box sets for on its own, but you also have things like Tom Talks, which is an hour of listening to Tom Baker talking about everything. It's exactly the sort of thing that fans enjoy, and as you'll expect, you know, you've got making of documentaries for each episode and a real dive into the archives to pull out all sorts of interviews and features that have a connection with the show. Of note is the Douglas Adams tribute and Matthew Sweet in conversation with Bob Baker. Oh, and you've got a shortened version of the Genesis of the Daleks LP on here as well, just in case you don't have a copy. But by now, that's actually been included in a bunch of other audio collections too. What's a bit of a shame is what's missing. On the limited edition steelbook of Shada was the webcast with the version starring Paul McGann. Now, it's possible that this will turn up in some sort of Wilderness Years box, but people can't play the version that they may already have on their original Shada DVDs because Flash is just not supported anywhere anymore. It would have been really nice to have had this included in what is otherwise a definitive edition of Shada material.
Did you just see what I didn't see?
But that aside, this set has an incredible array of features, many of which justify the price of the box alone. But there's something else that makes these boxes worth the money for many people, and that's the audio and video quality. With previous sets, some of the soundtracks have been remixed with 5.1 surround sound, although this is only ever possible where the production team have the original audio on different tracks. For this set, that means Destiny of the Daleks and Shada. And throughout the box sets, the sound here is the one thing that works perfectly. The sound's been revamped and it means that the dialogue is clearer. It makes you catch every witty quip from the Doctor. The background scores, the sound effects, they feel more immersive, and the iconic theme tune has never sounded better. Moving on to the visuals, well, this is where we really start to see the update slip. There is no doubt that all of these new pictures are much better than the original DVD releases. There are several reasons for this, but mostly it's due to the larger amount of data that's available for Blu-ray, meaning that the rescanned film and other footage suffers from fewer artifacts and thus a clearer picture. The caveat to that is that you can't get away from 45-year-old videotape footage looking like 45-year-old videotape footage. All of the issues that exist on those tapes, and sometimes there's a little haloing or there's some ghosting, they are still baked in to the Blu-ray releases. And this is why a story from almost 10 years prior, Spearhead from Space, can look 10 times better with its remaster, because the team were working exclusively with 16mm film. That said, this is a better picture, it's crisper, it's clearer. At least a little work has been done on the colouring and definition without marketingly degrading the image. I did think I noticed some artifacting which could possibly be the result of some sort of AI work, but I couldn't be sure.
Well, at a rough guess, I'd say the spatial integrator, transmutation oscillator, hologistic retention circuit. Shall I go on?
I know reports of Season 15 seem to suggest that AI upscaling has been used. Comparing this to the previous DVD releases, it is night and day. The DVDs, they did their job for their time, but this Blu-ray edition takes it to a new level. It respects the original material whilst enhancing it for a contemporary audience. In essence, the audio and video remastering of the Season 17 Blu-ray box set isn't just a facelift, it's a loving restoration that honours the legacy of Doctor Who. It's a perfect blend of nostalgia and modernity, making it a must-have for fans old and new. This release brings us standard edition collectors one step closer to completing our collection, with 16 more to go. We know that seasons 22, 2, 9, 20 and 15 are in the pipeline, whilst limited edition collectors are now well over the halfway mark and they're waiting for their season 15 releases. But like previous releases, this box has breathed new life into season 17. So grab a copy, settle in for a marathon, and let the TARDIS take you on a journey that you won't soon forget. That's it for this video, but I would love to know what you think in the comments below. Until next time, thanks ever so much for coming along, and I look forward to seeing you the next time that we go beyond the sofa.